kwenye siku speciali ambayo tutakuwa nasikiza marais wa 9 wakizungumza, watupe agenda zao, ni kipi ambacho wameweka. Unahisi vipi lakini?
Mimi nashukuru kwanza kuwa hapa. I'm also looking forward nisikia watatupea nini, because we know level ya football saizi Kenya haiko the level that we want it to be. We've seen a lot of, a lot of corruption, a lot of integrity issues when it comes to the finances ambazo zimeenda kwenye FKF. Also, the development ya grassroot football, the youth academies and everything. So, I'm looking forward kusikia ni nini exactly all of them wanafikiria ama wanahisi watatenda.
Na kwa niaba ya mtazamaji, basi mtazamaji ukiwa nyumbani, je, unaweza kuwa unajiuliza, je, ni nani ambaye atakuwa anawania urais, ama ni kina nani hawa ambao watakuwa wanawania urais? Kabla tusikize kabla tuelekee kwenye mjadala rasmi, basi hii tunasema ni pre-presidential debate, ambapo tunazungumzia zaidi. Nikupe ama nikueleze ni nani hawa. Tunazungumzia mmoja kati ya wale ambao watakuwa wanagombea urais ni Doris Petra, ambaye naibu wake ni Nick Mwendo. Kwa sasa Nick Mwendo ndio rais wa shirikisho la soka humu nchini. Kando na Doris Petra na Nick Mwendo kunaye Hussein Mohamed, ambaye pia atakuwa Hussein Mohamed ambaye naibu wake atakuwa McDonald Mariga. Mariga huyu ni mchezaji wa zamani wa Harambee Stars, mtazamaji. Barrios Tieno ambaye alikuwa mkurugenzi mtendaji ama CEO wa FKF pia yuko ndani ya kinyang'anyiro hiki, tutakuwa namsikia baadaye. Chris Amimo yupo ndani. Kumbuka Chris Amimo ndio kwa lugha ya kimombo wanasema head of youth football at FKF kwa sasa. Alafu pia ni proprietor katika ligi ndogo, akademia ya soka ya ligi ndogo, na ni former FKF NEC member. Tunaye pia Sami Kempes Owino, huyu ni mchezaji wa zamani wa timu ya taifa ya Harambee Stars. Je, ni kipi ambacho anacho kwa kisha soka ya humu nchini inaimarika? Kando na yeye tunaye Tom Alila, huyu pia ni former FKF NEC member, ambaye pia naibu wake ni Beryl Odhiambo, ambaye ni former referee na pia ni kocha wa soka. Tunaye Sam Nyamweya. Kumbuka Sam Nyamweya alikuwa ni rais wa zamani wa shirikisho la soka humu nchini. Baada ya aliweza kuondoka, Nick Mwendo akachukua usukani. Alafu tunaye Cleophas Shimanyula. Huyu ni mwenyekiti wa Kariobangi, huyu ni mwenyekiti wa Kakamega Homeboys, na hatakuwa naibu wake ni Twa Mbarak. Sam Ochola pia yuko kwenye kinyang'anyiro hiki. Kumbuka Sam Ochola ni secretary general wa Gor Mahia. Ni baadhi ya wale ambao watakuwa wanaangalia ama watakuwa wanaangalia sana kuweza kuchaguliwa ili kuweza kuimarisha soka humu nchini. Lakini nataka tuanze kwanza na kuzungumzia kuhusu nafasi ya Doris Petra na Nick Mwendo, ambaye iliwashangaza wengi kuwa naibu atakuwa naibu akaamua acha niende nikuwe rais, alafu rais akaamua niende nikuwe naibu. Tuanze na wewe.
I'm honestly nataka kujua in terms of what do they think wanaweza fanya different from what they did in the last 8 years, especially with President Nick. Also wondering what are their future plans for us, because we've seen them in office. They can obviously say may take some steps forward to where our football is at right now, but on the ground watu wamekuwa wakiteta wakisema there's this happening, our football should be on this level, our stadiums are not up to par. And I know, yes, when it comes to stadium C, FKF as a whole, the government is also plays a part into making sure that Konezo Bituka stadiums. Also, stories are the league itself, the FKF league, especially the men's league. Like you hear stories that people are not being paid. What are those? How are they going to address such issues? We look at the women's league where kumekuwa tuna a lot of confusion happening. They say this player is going to play for the Harambee Starlets, they are not there. You hear a story of this league, the cup is going to be played at this place, then it's moved to another place.
Different venues.
Different venues, so many confusing messages. So how are they going to deal with those blank spaces that we've seen in the 8 years, and how are they going to reflect and say, so this is what we have done, this is what we should have done, this is what we are going to do. So for the two of them, I feel like because already they have been in office, I really want to see what is going to happen in that regard.
Jose, Doris Petra, naibu wa sasa wa shirikisho la soka ya humu nchini FKF, unazungumzia pia Nick Mwendwa amekuwa kwenye usukani miaka 8, ambapo wengi wamekuwa wakilalamika, washikadau wanalalamika, wengi wanasema soka ya humu nchini. Je, ni kipi kimefanyika? Nilikuwa naangalia miaka 8 ambayo imepita, ukiangalia timu ya taifa Harambee Stars kwenye ile FIFA ranking walikuwa katika nafasi ya 87. Kwa sasa ni 106. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha tunashuka badala ya kuimarisha soka yetu, kwa sababu wengi wakiangalia soka ya Kenya wanaangalia matokeo ya timu ya taifa. Maybe wao wawili ni kipi tofauti wanaweza leta kwenye shirikisho iwapo watapewa nafasi?
Mwanzo niseme sina popular candidate. So whatever I'll be saying, itakuwa my personal views based on what I've seen for the last 8 years. First and foremost, it was a surprise kuona Doris Petra sasa yeye ndio mkubwa, sasa Nick Mwendwa ameenda number 2. So they are still in office. So what have they done and what will they do? Like Tabitha is saying, what will they do differently? Then hata ukiangalia on the presentation, wakipeleka nomination papers out, I still feel Nick Mwendwa is running the show, because hata body language ya Doris Petra was off. Haikuwa inakani kama yeye ndio anapeleka zile papers, ilikuwa inakani kama Nick Mwendwa ndio anapeleka nomination papers. As much as yeye ndio alipewa the papers up, za presidential aspirant, but I didn't feel yeye ndio anasukuma. Secondly, they've been saying that we've developed youth football, but ukiangalia even our academies, so much information haijafikia washikadau huku chini. Sababu, like for example, sijui kama watu wanajua that to register probably a youth league, it's free. Most people don't know, and a lot of youth leagues hazijakuwa registered. So development and grassroot football, I need to hear from them, what will they do? Besides Harambee Stars peke yake, angalia hata club football zetu. Gor Mahia walikuwa kwa CAF Confederation na Champions League wakiwa na Kenya Police. Walifika wapi? You see, for a club football to show that our football in a prosper, I think even when tunaenda kwa Champions League kama hizo za Africa, we should be going to the second round, quarters, tunafika mahali. But basically what I'm saying is, for the last 8 years, there have been very minimal development in terms of football. We have integrity issues. Everybody's complaining about corruption when it comes to FKF, and we know hao ndio wako pale juu. Then pia wanaingilia branches sana. So it's like wao wacha watengeneze policies hapo juu, let the branches run themselves. So wasikiwa wanatoka huko juu wanaingia mpaka the branch level. So I still feel that candidature, personally, sidhani ni Doris sana.
Asema that's your opinion.
My opinion, my personal opinion.
Na sijui kama mliona ile siku ambayo walikuwa na submit zile papers za kuweza kuhakikishiwa kuwa ni nafasi sasa mnaweza wania urais. Kulikuwa na ile ambayo tunasema bromance. Ni romance ama ni bromance? Wote wawili wako tayari kuiongoza soka humu nchini. Lakini kuna tukisonga pia tuangalie candidate mwingine, na wanazungumzia Hussein Mohamed, ambaye pia wanazungumzia ni baadhi ya wale ambao tunasema strong candidates ambao wanatupilia jicho kuwa rais wa shirikisho la soka humu nchini. Na tuangalie tu Hussein Mohamed ni nani. Kwa sasa ni mkurugenzi mtendaji, ama he's the CEO of Extreme Sports. Alafu naibu wake ni McDonald Mariga, ambaye ni the former Kenyan international footballer and the only Kenyan to win the Champions League. Kwa hivyo ana historia kuwa Mkenya wa pekee kushinda ligi ya klabu bingwa bara Ulaya ilikuwa mwaka 2010 akiwa na ile klabu ya Inter Milan. Na ile siku ya uzinduzi, kabla tuweze kuzungumzia tu kwa undani, kulikuwa siku ya uzinduzi ambapo Hussein Mohamed alikuwa anazungumza, anasema wakati ni huu wa kuhakikisha soka imeimarika, ni wakati ambapo soka inaimarika. Lakini kuna jambo ambalo alizungumzia sana. Kumbuka mwaka 2011 alisimama kuweza kuwania urais, lakini akabwagwa na Sam Nyamweya. Na alisema kuwa raundi hii kifanyike kipi, lazima nitaingia. Tunaweza msikiza huyu Hussein Mohamed.
2011 tulijaribu, tumejifunza. Raundi hii tumejipanga, raundi hii tuko tayari, raundi hii niko uwanjani, na raundi hii liwe liwalo, tunaingia. I am asking all Kenyans who share my belief to journey together onto the futuristic discourse of commercialization of Kenyan football. In the coming weeks, I will take my message to the delegates of Kenyan football. I will talk about the importance of having quality leadership, integrity, transparency, and accountability in the administration of the sport. I will present my plan to reform and catapult Kenyan football into a thriving commercial and economic entity.
Ni mmoja kati ya wagombeaji kiti cha urais wa shirikisho la soka humu nchini ambao ni FKF, akisema kuwa mwaka 2011 ilimtoka, alishindwa mwaka 2011, lakini wakati huu yuko tayari. Uchaguzi ambao utakuwa unafanyika tarehe 7 mwezi Disemba, anasema yuko tayari kuingia.
How Kenyan footballs they can go. Kenyan footballers, how far that one is afika.
Yeah.
Like the fact that amefika win Champions League, which is like the highest of club championships. Like this is the dream that every club wants to achieve. And saying that I have been one of those people, the fact that in East Africa, kuna mtu mwingine ameshinda, isipokuwa yeye, if I'm not wrong. So if more is invested in our footballers, they would definitely reach up to there. We've seen even the junior starlets kufika World Cup, which is such an amazing thing. So I just wish the same way wanasema, it doesn't happen that wanafika huko, it changes. You know, people know how to speak good words. Yani wako na maneno matamu ya kumtoa nyoka pangoni. Like they can say all these wonderful things because obviously they know what we want to hear. They know that kumekuwa na hizi shida, they're saying, oh, we can fix them. I just hope that it's going to be what they're saying. If that is that they actually get into that position, to get that seat. So far, I've seen their manifesto, Hussein, and the things that he's been saying. It's also been a very good nini at Murang'a Seals. Yeah. So the club has been good. Yes, sahi kwa ligi wana struggle kidogo, but don't feel like blame totally for Kwake. The team has some issues they need to deal with. So yeah, I'm looking forward. I want to see the fact that Mariga was also a player. He can speak to how football players are feeling right now. He can speak to the fact that nimekuwa in your situation, I know what you need, I know what you are lacking, and hizo vitu, so they can fix up some issues.
And then tukizungumzia kuhusu amezungumza kuhusu mchezaji wa zamani McDonald Mariga, amecheza soka humu nchini. Kuna wakati ambapo kakae ambaye ni akizungumza pia akasema kuwa kuna wakati ambapo Harambee Stars iliwabidi kwa watumie fedha zao ili waweze kuelekea kucheza mechi za kufuzu dimba la kombe la dunia, kuelekea kucheza mechi za dimba la kombe la bara Afrika. Hivyo inamaanisha kuwa wakati huo ilikuwa struggle, wakati ambapo Mariga alipokuwa mchezaji. Kwenye hii candidate ya our candidates unazungumzia Hussein Mohamed McDonald Mariga, wengi wanaangalia wanasema ni fans favorite, wana ufuasi upo, lakini mwisho wa siku wale ambao watakuwa wanaamua mtazamaji ni wajumbe, wale ambao watakuwa wanaamua mtazamaji ni the delegates. Je, ni kipi ambacho watakuwa wanauza ili kuweza kuvutia wale ambao delegates ndio wataamua hali ya soka humu nchini, kile ambacho wanahitaji? Lakini Hussein Mohamed McDonald Mariga,
fans favorite, na wamekuwa kiride na ile you know, the angle ya integrity and angle ya welfare. So Hussein alisema Mariga will deal mambo ya players welfare, mshahara na vitu kama hizo, na yeye ataangalia mambo ya integrity issues. But kama tu vile Tabitha amesema, you know, it's easier said than done. We were there at 2016 and someone promised us, you know, that someone promised a lot of things, and right now we are here, we are struggling. And I think in terms of corruption, I really want to hear how watadeal na hiyo corruption, and if he knows there is corruption kwa football, amekuwa akifanya nini, ama ana which steps ama actions amekuwa akitake ama atatake saizi, because you know kuna sports you know courts that anaweza peleka such complaints, akona any evidence or such things. So hizo ndio vitu tunataka atuambie, since amekuwa kiride na hiyo nini ya integrity. In terms of welfare, we all know some of the clubs zina struggle kulipa hata wachezaji, zingine haziwalipi, zingine zinawakandamiza. So we also want to hear the steps. Unajua wasituambie tu Mariga will deal with players welfare, na mimi nitadeal na integrity issues. We want to know nitadeal nazo aje, then we can move from there. Then we shall go back and judge. Is it in a few months or so? Is it the same thing that alisema? So yeah, the fans favorite, but like I said, it is easier said than done. Lakini pia asikue overconfident, because the others, kuna wengine hapo huwa ambao wako a little bit stronger as well. So asiride na hiyo that hiyo slogan ya fans favorite.
Asema delegates ndo huamuzi mtazamaji. Hussein Mohamed McDonald Mariga, baadhi ya wale ambao wanawania urais wa shirikisho la soka humu nchini. Alafu tuangalie tena mwingine wa tatu ambaye ni Barry Otieno, ambaye pia naibu wake ama makamu wake atakuwa Lucy Kaiga. Huyu Barry Otieno mtazamaji alikuwa wiki chache zilizopita alijiuzulu, aliweza kujiuzulu kama mkurugenzi mtendaji wa shirikisho la soka humu nchini, FKF CEO. Kwa hivyo kwa sasa ni former FKF CEO. Sijui kwa nini akajiuzulu, sijui kwa nini akajiondoa, lakini naibu wake is the outgoing chairperson of the FKF Nyandarua branch. Kwa hivyo wote wanaelewa soka, wamekuwa kwenye soka. Barry Otieno anarejea, lakini sasa amesema sitaki kuwa mkurugenzi mtendaji, sitaki kuwa secretary general of FKF. Nataka kuwa rais, nataka kuiongoza soka ya humu nchini. Lakini ni kipi tofauti ambacho atakuwa anakileta kwenye soka ambacho hajafanya miaka 4 ambayo imepita? Ni kipi tofauti ambacho atakuwa anafanya? Atakuwa analetea wachezaji ambacho hawaletea ndani ya muda ambao wamekuwa nao pale. Kwanza zungumzia kuhusu Barry Otieno resigning as akaacha kiti alafu anarudi tena. Kwa nini uache ikiwa umesalia miezi miwili?
For me, ilini pata by surprise. That was like something that was in my books. I still don't understand the thought process ya resign. Maybe he will explain it to us today as to why he decided to resign then as the elections are nearing. I think for Barry and for Doris, I feel like they are in the same predicament. Their candidature have to really explain to us what they are going to do differently venye tumesema. And I think a key important thing is for this all the candidates, actually, not for those two of them. I'm not sidelining the two of them, but the how. I want to really understand the how. Unajua, most at the times that you can tell us, I'm going to build your stadium, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, but how are you actually going to do those things?
What's the plan?
Yeah, what's the plan? What does the plan look like? Because I can come here and tell you, by the way, kesho ndakununulia Lamborghini, but
ninunulie niko tayari.
Yeah, but I have to come and explain to you, so niko na hizi pesa, kesho na expect kuwin lotto ama nini ama hizo vitu zenye watu wanawiningi. That's how I buy it for you. Also, I don't want people to bite more than they can chew, because the thing is, utakuja hapa na manifesto like 50 pages, and honestly speaking, I don't think ati shida za Kenyan football can be fixed in one day or in 1 year or in 2 years. It's going to take time, gradually, but I like that mtu akikuja tuambie baby steps. Pole kidogo anakuja hivyo pole anatuambia, so kitu ya kwanza yenye mimi nataka kufix, nilikuwa CEO, sikufanya hivi, nilikuwa secretary general, sikufanya hivi, but nataka kufix hapa hii part ya kwanza. Tuseme ya focus on the first 1 year, a focus on grassroots peke yake. The second ndia a focus on maybe wachezaji welfare, like in terms of payments, because salaries are very important to these players. This is their livelihood, and when someone is coming to complain, I have not been paid for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you really wonder how do they expect this footballer to live. When unasikia mtu anasema mimi sikuji Harambee Stars juu we are not being flown out, sina pesa ya kulipa ndege, I won't cater for my ndege na nini na hizi vitu zote. So you look at those things, I'm looking forward. Actually, I'm very anxious and
unaangalia sana
tu hivi time ifike.
Barry Otieno kujiondoa dakika ya mwisho. Kumbuka tia ule muhula ambao amekuwa pale miaka 4, ndani ya zile miaka 4 ambao amekuwa pale kama mkurugenzi mtendaji, ndio baadhi ya zile siku tukapigwa marufuku na FIFA. Wakasema kuwa serikali inaingilia masuala ya soka, tukapigwa marufuku. Lakini ni kipi ambacho kilisababisha serikali kuingilia masuala ya soka? Fununu zikasema kuwa uongozi mbaya. Uongozi mbaya. Bari Otieno anarejea. Kwa nini hakujiuzulu zile siku za zamani? Kwa nini hakujitokeza na kusema kuwa mimi sitaki kujihusisha basi na shirikisho ambalo linashtumiwa kuwa na uongozi mbaya?
I think in fact Tabitha ameread mind yangu. Yeah, Doris and Barry, because it is there during their time kumekuwa very many banning very many scandals. Now Barry amekuwa CEO wa FKF. Club football, we know some clubs, sita mention names, but we know some players either don't pay ama wanawalipa kidogo ama hawalipi on time. Sasa huyu mchezaji hata ile moral ushaivunja already. Now I remember kulikuwa a certain time when team ilikuwa inaenda Kisii, Shabana ilikuwa inacheza against another team Kisii, and players wamefika, mafans wamefika, lakini hakuna red.
Refu walitokea lakini wakapotea.
Wakapotea, wanasema ati there is no enough security, there is no enough nini. FKF for that point wangekuwa wameshajua all these situations. Remember kuna fan ametoka mbali, ametoka all the way from Nairobi kwenda kushabikia Shabana ama timu nyingine. So when wanaenda huko alafu game haichezi because of such issue, inakuwa another thing. So kandidate yao unajua wanamulipa kwa sababu they've been there and they have to tell us what went wrong, how are they going to fix it. Kwa sababu you cannot just come and ride just as how will you improve that? Because being there shows that you know inner things that we don't know. Sasa inafaa mwanzo hata watuambie what hizo scandals zimekuwa zikihappen hapo ndani, kwa nini zili happen, why were we banned, and why and how will they make sure that hatutabaniwa any other time.
Na pia ukiangalia pia Doris Setra, Nick Mwendo wa Barry Otieno, kuna mchezo kwa lugha ya kimombo wanasema gambling. Pata potea. Tubahatisha hapa, tuingia hapa, tubahatisha hapa. Sisemi wanabahatisha.
Sema ndio kuongea ukweli, hata I think someone is behind Barry Otieno. I don't know who, but to my thoughts, I think someone is behind Barry resigning, and there is a game that they are playing to either scandal the delegates ama nini or something.
Kwa lugha ya mtaani wanasema kamechorwa. Kama kamechorwa kweli. Tuangalie mwingine. Wengine pia Chris Amimo na Anthony Makau. Huyu Chris Amimo is the head of youth football at FKF. Yuko kwenye ile shirikisho kwa sasa. Shirikisho la FKF, yuko pale, ni proprietor of league ndogo and former FKF NEC member. Wote wanaelewa soka humu nchini. Alafu pia ukiangalia naibu wake ni Anthony Makau, is the interim Eastern Region NEC member and the former referee committee vice chairman.
Yeah. For those two, especially for Chris, I'm thinking like the youth development for football. That's I feel like that's the foundation of our football. Because honestly, sasa ukiangalia Harambee Stars in a few years, I feel like the squad yenye iko, they will be stepping out very soon. And we have to now start integrating new players when wametoka youth development, which honestly I'm very much looking forward to, especially for this team that is going to Juba, South Sudan. Right. Yeah, wameshaondoka. Yeah. And you're looking at like squad kama hiyo, you're looking at someone like Andreas who plays for Kariobangi Sharks. He was very good in their Rising Stars when walikuwa juzi Tanzania, and they've played so well. They've qualified for AFCON. And you're looking at a player like that and you're thinking, if our development here, you think it was so strong, the fact that you look at Rising Stars, unaona venye wanacheza, they play such beautiful football. Obviously, congrats to Coach Salim Babu and how he has obviously put that team together. And you're looking at that team and you're thinking, hey, come on, these are the people we're looking forward to play in Harambee Stars. I have so much hopes for them. Not that I don't have hopes for the current Harambee Stars, but I'm just thinking like our youth have really good talent. You're looking at if there can come a point where ni kama venye watu walikuwa na complain about junior starlets, where wanakujanga kutrain second term. Alafu wanaenda kucheza na timu kaya England where wakiwa wadogo tu mtu anakuzwa kwa football ako hapo every single day. If we can reach a point where our football is actually taken very seriously, such a point that wakikuja wanaanza kucheza kidogo hivyo, it's not that every single time wanaenda wanakuja second term wana train. And we have seen this even with the players talking about this. I saw a video of Amo Wanjala, who was playing in the Nini, akisema they need to be in camp like 2 months before wafike atikwenda kucheza competition, because 2 weeks is not going to solve you're not going to create chemistry in 2 weeks. So in terms of youth development, I really want to hear what so far ameweza kufanya and what is the plan, because obviously akiingia as president he's still going to continue with mikakati yenye alikuwa ameweka hapo mbele. Atafanya nini to make sure like our players wetu they are catered to. Si ati wanafika, it's only we start to appreciate them when wame qualify for AFCON. Like kama tuseme hata wange qualify, what would have been done in that regard? They have gone out there, they've given their sweat and blood for this country. How are we going to repay them? Yeah.
Mtazamaji, tunazidi kuzungumzia kuhusu masuala ya soka humu nchini. Jioni ya leo ikiwa ni jioni speciali, jioni ambayo tutakuwa tunasikiza ni kipi ambacho wawaniaji urais wa shirikisho la soka humu nchini ambao ni FKF presidential aspirants wana kipi cha kuuza, wana kipi cha kuzungumzia kuhusu agenda zao ambazo zitakuwa zinaimarisha soka humu nchini, ama ni kipi ambacho watakuwa wanafanya kuhakikisha kuwa ndani ya muhula ujao ama ndani ya msimu ujao, miaka 4 ijao, ni kipi ambacho watafanya ili kuhakikisha soka inaimarika. Tunazidi kuzungumzia kuhusu wale wagombeaji. Tumezungumzia kuhusu Doris Petra ambaye atakuwa ama naibu wake atakuwa Nick Mwendwa. Tumezungumzia kuhusu Hussein Mohamed, naibu wake McDonald Mariga. Tumezungumzia Barry Otieno na Lucy Kahiga. Tulikuwa sasa hivi tumekuwa tukizungumzia mtazamaji Chris Amimo ambaye naibu wake ni Anthony Makau. Chris Amimo anazungumzia kuhusu ni head of youth football, ni msimamizi wa wale chipukizi. Na chipukizi wamekuwa kitamba hasa timu ya taifa wachezaji wasiozidi umri wa miaka 20 ilijikatia tiketi kuelekea AFCON, na pia timu ya taifa ya kinadada wasiozidi umri wa miaka 17 ambao ni Junior Stars pia walishinda mechi yao ya kwanza, ama walishinda mechi moja kwenye dimba la kombe la dunia. Ni historia kushiriki kwa mara ya kwanza kwenye kombe la dunia na kuweza kuandikisha ushindi. Waliandikisha ushindi wa mabao 2-1 dhidi ya Mexico. Chris Hamimo yupo hapa na miaka 4 amekuwa na shirikisho la soka, ama ndani ya miaka mula ambao unakamilika mwezi Disemba amekuwa ndani. Kipi ambacho amebadilisha? Ni kipi labda atakuwa analeta? Ni kipi kipya ambacho pia hakufanya atakuwa anafanya?
So in terms of youth football, one thing I can give the current FKF, wamejaribu in terms of kujaribu kumanage the youth football and women kidogo, lakini because tunaona kuna several structures wame put in place. For example, waliondoa when unaenda ku sponsor a team ama unaenda ku register a team that is youth, it is free right now. The only thing about them, or rather about Chris, ni vile hafikishi information to the ground. So anafaa fikishe information, then youth football itakuwa another level. So basically inabidi atatuambia vizuri the structures built for youth football, how ataendelea kuzi-improve, and then we can start our conversation from there. And basically pia atuambie all the other issues. Kuna sides ambazo hazifocus na football sana. Our football in terms of academies na kila kitu tumefocus upande wa the urban areas, for example Dr. Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret, lakini kuna other areas that pia tunafaa tap in huko, kwa sababu kuna wachezaji pia kule, na structures zisipofika kule, proper structures za youth zisipofika kule, hatutatap your talent. So atuambie how is he willing kufika kwa hizo areas ambazo ziko a little bit marginalized, and we know they can provide. Hakuna mahali hakuna talent, ni vile tu that talent is not recognized. So we should atuambie vile tutafika pale.
Alafu pia mwingine kumbuka, lakini kabla niangalia huyu wa tano ambaye ni Samuel Wino Kempes, ni kinyang'anyiro hiki ama kimevutia 9 candidates.
9 candidates.
9 aspirants.
Yes.
Wengi sana. Labda kwa maoni yako kwa nini? Sababu inamaanisha pia mimi nikisimama leo.
Hiyo ukitaka unaweza end up, lakini sijui kama una qualify bado. Umekuwa inactive football for like 5 years. So kama hujakuwa player, hujakuwa actively involved kwa football, mtangazaji wa soka, hiyo pia ni active, so una qualify. 9 aspirants, it is because of the kind of the kind of finances that flow there, the kind of power that is in that seat, and the kind of influence that popale. Remember, if you are able to grow a talent, and the talent to fit your places, remember, all people will be praising you that India, it is your work, basically. It is just like the presidency. If a country grows, a GDP, a country will grow, we don't look at the minister or the PS, we look at the overall. So I think kuna a lot of things that come with that seat, and my opinion, some of the people, I don't think honestly wako very sidhani wataleta major changes. Some of them I'm looking at them na naona kama wataleta some changes. So I think, to my opinion, hiyo ni seat yenye iko na high stakes, ina attract high stakes, and that is why tunaona kila mtu anataka kuwa pale. And remember, some of them have been there, so they want to come back. Some nyamua watakuwa pale. Toha Mbaraka alikuwa assistant sometime, so hawa ni watu wenye they know utamu inakuja na hiyo kiti. That's why wanataka Nick Mwenda wataki kutoka. Kwa nini? They know utamu inakuja na hiyo kiti.
Pia mimi nataka nionje utamu uko ndani. Na pia amezungumzia about finances that come with that seat when you are top there. Tuliweza kuona FIFA ikitangaza kuwa sasa rais, the president will be earning more than 500,000 Kenya shillings per month. Pesa mingi sana.
Hey, apart from your salary itself, for me, I think one of the biggest industries or avenues to earn money is the footballing industry. I'll take an example like England. We've seen how many tourists come to England specifically to watch those clubs. So I'm thinking like it's $1 billion industry, not even like Kenyan shillings. You're looking at it, you're thinking it's very lucrative. And if kunaweza kuwa na the policies in place, they would football employ so many people. You look at coach mwenyewe ako na bench yake, kuna players, kuna referees, kuna watu wa physiotherapists, kuna watu wa psychology, hizo vitu zote, kuna watu wa chakula, there's cooks, there's caterers, there's sponsors. Yani, if we have the proper structures, we have the proper policies, I'm telling you, Kenya would be so far ahead of like any other country in like East Africa, most especially. And we have been lagging behind, and I've said this on numerous occasions and like what, but looking at country kama Tanzania, they have put policies in place where it has helped their country to grow their football. So I'm thinking, hii place iko na pesa, acha tu niseme kai. There's so much money in football.
Okay.
In attract.
Ndio maana kila mtu anataka. Nilikuwa pia na ngoja na hapo pale sikuona. Hapo kwenye active football.
Ambaka mwaka moja.
Mimi.
Hata mwaka moja kwa kweli.
Hapana.
Tuangalie mwingine basi ambaye ni Sami Wino ambaye ni Kempes. Alikuwa mchezaji wa zamani wa timu ya taifa ya Kenya ambayo ni Harambee Stars. Alafu wanasema is a former Kenya international based in US. Na naibu wake ni Evans Kadenge. Huyu is the current chairman of Nzoia Sugar. Hapa nina swali. You're based in US. Uko kule Marekani. Sijui kama umekuwa ukifuatilia soka huko nchini, kwa sababu nahitaji uwe hapa ndani, uwe kwa ground. Kwa ground uweze kutuonyesha. Alafu Evans Kadenge, timu yake Nzoia Sugar ilishushwa. Labda angeweka mikakati, angetuonyesha tu kwanza na uongozi na timu yake. Akisha kuwa timu ishuki. Ni maoni yangu haya. Kuria.
Mi mwanzo kabisa Tabitha can remember, mimi nina shida na Kempes. Kwa sababu there is an interview alifanya akisema akona academy in the US. And I've tried kuangalia kama akona academy huku, still sijapata information if akona academy huku. So ningependa hata kujua first and foremost, if you need 5 active years in football in Kenya, yeye amekuwa akifanya nini for those 5 years? At least atuambie, and vile alipata hiyo nomination, I don't know. Then secondly, ulienda kusoma, which is a good thing. Kuenda kusoma, it's not bad. The exposure is nice and everything, but ulienda kusoma ukamaliza, lakini ukatulia huko.
Yeah.
What is it alifanyia football nini ataleta? So there's sometime kuna interview alifanya last week akasema in fact many people are asking the same question, but yeye anaangalia like it is a positive thing because amekuwa exposed na ameona how football is run there. So I think yes, it's a positive thing. So atuambie tu the structures that are put in place tufanane at least na MLS basi kama tutafika.
Na pia kwenye kikao na wanahabari pia Samia Owino Kempes aliweza kujitokeza na akaweza kujitetea. Mtazamaji ukiwa nyumbani msikize.
As a candidate, I was born in Kenya. I am a Kenya citizen. I played for Luo Union. I played for Gor Mahia. I played for Harambee Stars. I'm as qualified, if not more qualified, than any of the candidates out there. Yes, there is hope. The problem that we have starts at the top. If the leadership at the top is not functional or not good, then it kind of flows down to the bottom of the organization. And so there's a lot of hope for Kenyan football if the right people are in place. I have traveled around the country and I have seen a lot of people in different parts of the country, all over the country, doing amazing things without the support of the federation. I think the leadership is an issue. And part of the problem, I think, is, it's a problem that we have in the whole country, is lack of accountability. And so what happens is it enables people in certain positions to get away with corruption. There's no impunity. And so the problem is not just within the Federation Bishop alone, but it's a cultural problem. But I honestly believe that there's a lot of hope for football in this country, and I believe that if I'm elected to serve, that we can revive football in this country and take it to heights that we will make it one of the top football nations in Africa. I am convinced that regardless of who's out there, we are confident that we have the best plan for this country. We have the best intentions. We have a team that has integrity, the competence that can move this football forward. So the people who know us know that, and we will continue to make.
Mtazamaji ni Sami Owino Kempes akijitetea. Anasema kuwa mimi nimechezea Luo United, nimechezea pia Gor Mahia, nimechezea timu ya taifa Harambee Stars kabla nielekea kule majuu, kabla nielekea kule United States of America. Pia amezungumzia kuhusu kile ambacho kinaharibu Kenya, anasema ni corruption, ufisadi mwingi, na anasema kuwa iwapo tutaweka miundo misingi, iwapo mtaniweka pale, basi mwisho wa siku nitahakikisha kuwa soka imeimarika huko. Sijui mbona unacheka. Kabla nimalizie, mbona unacheka?
Kitu ya kwanza ni I feel like kwa hiyo situation it's not about ati wewe ukiingia utafanya nini. What have you been doing? Unajua, I usually say like for you to come and say you are from the outside, kuja useme kuna shida naona, but so far you've never taken a step kusaidia hiyo shida yenye umeona. So like all of a sudden are we supposed to believe that tukiingia tu utafix the situation while uko na power kidogo, in as much as si ati power kama ya CEO ama president ama nini. So far what have you done? And also I feel like in a way charity begins at home. So ukisema umetengeneza academy huko, I don't think umeopen your academy for Kenyan players only.
Napeleka vijana wa Kenya maju.
Hapana. Nianzie hapa uwapeleke huko. You must have something already. Yeah, because how are you going to scout? You're going to other people's academies, ukichukua watoto ukiwapeleka huko. No, it doesn't work like that. I feel like in a way if angekuwa structure yake ya branding ingekuwa ametoka US 2 years before the elections, alikuja akaanza kufanya something, so we would have said plan yake ina make sense. But umeka huko hiyo miaka 4 umekuja sasa kuna disconnect hapo. It feels like umekuja tu specifically juu ya hii election. Doesn't feel like umekuja juu ya something different, like you are coming to impact our football. So I feel like hiyo ni kitu anaweza address in terms of sawa, you created an avenue ya kupeleka our players there, but here we're still dealing with a lot of issues, na issues zenye only faced at that time, which I also feel like can be said the same way for Mariga, in as much as yes, alicheza at that time, the problems that he went through that time, they might be the same but not totally similar. Kuna two issues zenye hata wao wanafaa kuwa informed in terms of shida zenye tulideal nazo 5 years and not the issues we are dealing with right now.
Teknolojia pia imebadilika. Unataka kuongezea?
Kuna kitu umemention about anatoa talent hapa anapeleka huko. Item challenge na today ako na avenue ya kutuambia amepeleka wachezaji wangapi, amewatoa hapa akampeleka kwa hiyo academy iko huko US na kisha wakarudi wakachezea Harambee Stars. Wakaitwa Harambee Stars. Ningependa tutarajia angalau kama amekuwa huko for all those years, atutajie tu wawili, hatutaki watatu.
Wawili
na corruption generalize steps zenye atachukua kukabio corruption na anajua imefikia wapi. Probably ako na platform right now today kutuambia all those things.
Yep. Basi atakuwa anatueleza kwenye jukwaa kubwa, jukwaa ambalo litakuwa linaanza ama presidential debate ambayo itakuwa inaanza mida ya saa 12:30. Kwa hivyo hapa ambapo tupo saizi ni pre-presidential debate ama tuna set pace. Kabla waingie rasmi wajibu maswali, kabla waingie rasmi waweze kujitetea, kabla waingie rasmi waweze kuuza agenda zao. Mwingine ambaye yupo hapa kwenye kinyang'anyiro hiki, sipo natarajia niweze kumuona kwenye kinyang'anyiro hiki. Nazungumzia mtazamaji Tom Alila, yupo ndani. Huyu pia ni former NEC member, FKF NEC member, na naibu wake ni Beryl Adhiambo ambaye ni former referee na pia ni kocha wa soka. Tukianza mapema tulizungumzia kuhusu ni Tom Alila na Beryl Adhiambo ambaye pia ni referee. Tom Alila kuwa kwenye kinyang'anyiro, sijui kama ilikupata kwa surprise ama kuna
I feel like kuna watu wengi hapo wali catch by surprise. First of all, I wasn't.
Inamaanisha mwisho wa siku uchaguzi pia huenda tukaona
kitu different. Unajua kitu moja wanasemanga kuna spoiled votes. So kuna wengine tu watakuja tu specifically nimekuja kuharibia watu wengine. Najua unaenda kurani hivi, acha mimi niingie ni make sure votes zako zimekuwa split. So inaweza kuwa it's such a situation like that. But I feel like mostly I want to highlight Beryl in terms of refereeing in Kenya. Kumekuwa na a lot of complaints about referees, decisions zenye wana make, they don't make sense na nini, which can be said for a lot of countries. Mpaka England, Addis Ababa, people still complaining about the refereeing issue. But for her most specifically, I want to see how their candidature is going to help referees in terms of vinye tu Korea alikuwa mention in terms of walienda Shabana referees and they said that there were not enough security to make sure that wao watakuwa sawa. There's been numerous situations of where referee wako like, if I make this decision against this big club, sitatoka hii game. If they feel threatened by such issues na nini. Also the issues that we should have like enough referees, we should have many referees, and the avenues of easy information as ikuangi available to people. I'm sure there are people wenye waliona okay siwezi kuwa footballer but I would love to be a referee, but they don't know the next steps to take. This information is not available to people as it should be. So how are they going to talk about that in terms of communication? Like what exactly are they going to do to make sure that information kaizi ina reach watu in terms of naweza tell story yake like how did you get to refereeing na hizo vitu zote. So
na huyu Tom Alila pia wakati wa uzinduzi wa urais wake ama akitangaza hazma yake kuwania urais alizungumzaje, alisema kipi? Tumsikie.
I stand before you not just as an aspirant, Football Kenya Federation president, but as a passionate advocate for the beautiful game that unites us all. We are all here to chart a new course for football in Kenya, a course defined by our shared valued transparency and accountability. My vision for the federation is clear: to create football landscape where every player, coach, referee, fan, partners, and every stakeholder feels valued and empowered. Together we can elevate the game from the grassroots to elite level, ensuring that football in Kenya thrives today and the generations to come. We will prioritize the needs and rights of all football professionals. My administration will seek to have more attention on players and not the officials. I'm presenting to you, ladies and gentlemen, a choice of shifting the conversation from politics of the game to the game itself. And it is the players.
Bwana Tom Walila hapo, mtazamaji akijitetea, anasema kuwa I'm the right candidate to change Kenyan football. I'm the right candidate to lead the Kenyan football. Anasema mabadiliko analeta. Nakumbuka pia ni former NEC member wa FKF. Kwa hivyo pia anaelewa kile ambacho kinafanyika kule ndani. Ndio maana pia akajitokeza kusema kwa mimi ndio the right candidate.
So the reason I'm criticizing hawa watu sana ni kwa sababu they are generalizing it. So unajua saizi unaweza sema askofu, I am the right person, but why do you think you are the right person? Tuambie kwa nini unafikiria you are the right person. And then alikuwa kwa NEC, he's sitting at the decision making table ya FKF, and we have so many very many problems kwa FKF. So ana plan kuzi approach aje. Na yeye amesema kuhusu refereeing. Saizi kuna game unaweza enda kucheza za Div 1 na Div 2. Hiyo stadium, if you make a wrong decision kama ref against the home team, unajua uko pabaya.
Na ni kitu ambacho kimeanza tangu enzi
kitambo. So ni nini watafanya to make sure that I kama fan naweza enda kwa game ya Division 1 and ni enjoy, na timu yangu kishinda haitakuwa threatened. Kuna game ukienda timu nyingine ifunge na mkono, ichukue ball yake kwa inahesabiwa kama bob, because referee hatatoka hapo kama hata hesabu. So being a referee atuambie situations kama hizo where fans wana feel threatened, opposing team opponents wana feel threatened, even the referee themselves wana feel threatened. So watazifanya aje? So yeah, ningependa kujua zaidi kutoka kwao.
Tutakuwa najua baada, watakuwa najua kwenye mjadala rasmi. Mtazamaji tutakuwa napiga break fupi, tunazidi kuzungumzia mjadala ambao unafuata, ama tunazungumzia debate FKF presidential debate ambayo itakuwa mida ya saa 12:30, lakini tutakuwa naondoka tupige break fupi, alafu tukirejea Shataboy na Celine watakuwa narudi waweze kutueleza zaidi kuhusu wagawaniaji urais ambao wako hapa. Sam Nyamoya yupo ndani, Cleopas Chimanyula pia yuko ndani, na Sam Ochola yupo ndani. Mtazamaji, tunachukua break fupi, lakini usiondoke, tuna mengi ya kuzungumzia kabla ya kuingia kwenye official presidential debate. Mtazamaji,
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
You're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets home.
Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen. Shangae Dante amemea dread tena. Piga substitute. Sasa ni ile substitute ya kumalizia. Shut up, we're taking over now. Remember still hapa. FKF definition today start. While it starts, as the aspirants people in, wako na panel yangu ya discussing the state of the football in the country and also looking at the aspirants. I understand Dante had taken you through up to candidate number 7. So that is where we take over. But before we continue, let my panel introduce themselves once again. We start with you.
Okay. So hi everyone, my name is Makumi Tabitha. I am a football analyst. I basically focus on football in general. Kariobangi Sharks fan, the biggest fan ever.
I'm Celino Idera. I'm also a football analyst, a bigger pundit. Yeah, they call me the Liverpool cheerleader. So yeah, and I also work and I'm a fan of Tusker FC. Yeah.
A qualified coach as a licensed qualified coach.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. Sorry for the technical hitch, but we're back here. Members Studio coming to you live on direct from the Catholic University. This is where we are doing the presidential debate for the FKF presidency. And before we start the debate, we have to discuss matters football and the state of football in the country. And of course, I'm not doing it alone. I'm here with a very able panel. I'll allow them to introduce themselves once again.
Hi everyone, my name is Makumi Tabitha. I am a football analyst and the biggest Kariobangi Sharks fan in Kenya and outside Kenya.
Okay, I go by the name Celino Idera, a football analyst and the biggest pundit to Liverpool. They call me the Liverpool cheerleader, and I also work for Tusker FC and the biggest fan of Tusker FC.
Joseph Wangari, as well, a sports analyst, and also CAFD licensed coach.
Amazing, and I'm also a CAFD licensed coach. Hope you unakumbuka vitu kama mesocycle. Guys, football has a lot of words and terminologies that they taught us that I've never seen being applied in the pitch, but anyway, it's part of learning. As you had discussed earlier with my colleague Dante, I'm sure you are going through the aspirants. Remember, we have 9 of them, and I'm sure you're going up to number 6.
Yeah.
So we picked from number 7. All right, but just a quick update to the listener and out to the people watching from home. The first one, we have Doris Petra, who will be deputized by Nick Mwendwa, the current president. Remember, Doris Petra is the current FKF vice president and is vying for the presidency. Nick Mwendwa is the outgoing FKF president, now seeking the vice president position. Number 2 is Hussein Mohamed at McDonald Mariga. Hussein Mohamed is the CEO of Extreme Sports. McDonald Mariga is a former Kenyan international footballer and the only Kenyan to win the UEFA Champions League with Inter Milan in 2010 under Jose Mourinho. Then number 3, you had discussed Barry Otieno. Has been deputized by Lucy Kaiga. Barry Otieno is the former FKF CEO. Lucy Kaiga is the outgoing chairperson of the FKF Nyandarua branch. Number 4, Chris Amino, Anthony Macau. Chris Amino is the head of the youth football at FKF, the proprietor of Ligi Ndogo and a former FKF NEC member. Anthony Macau is the interim Eastern Region NEC member and a former referee committee vice chairman. Number 5, Sami Kempes Owino and Evans Kadenge. Sami Kempes Owino is a former Kenyan international based in the USA. And Evans Kadenge is the current chairman of Nzoia Sugar FC. Number 6, you discussed Tom Alila and Beryl Adhiambo. Tom Alila is a former FKF NEC member. Beryl Adhiambo is a former referee and coach. Now, let us discuss Sam Nyamuya and Patricia Mudeu. Sam Nyamuya is a former FKF president and KFF secretary general. Patricia Mudeu is the former Mathare United CEO and former MCA. Kwanza nyinyi mlikuwa mmeongeongea, ndio? Let's come to you. Madam Liverpool, Madam Tusker, yes? All right. What do you think about the candidacy of Sam Nyamuya and Patricia Mudeu?
I guess this is the second time we're seeing Nyamuya vying for the same seat. We saw him back in 2016 when the FKF conducted the election and Nick Mwendwa was chosen as the president. That time he took from Sam Nyamuya, and I think I was still young, so I didn't see more of Nyamweya. I don't think okay, everyone here is a top contender, and everyone has the capabilities to be the FKF president and to lead the federation. And if I was to be asked, I would just say, if we didn't have to have someone who is anchoring the whole football thing, I think it could be chaos. In as much as people are coming and saying, oh, most of the candidates who are there are not even up to the task. But I think we have had names. Yeah, we know Nick Mondo has been there, even though our football kidogo was in shambles some years back. I think, I don't think Nyamweya is the top candidate for this one, but yeah, let's see.
For me to say, obviously, from what I have seen people on the internet talking about, especially in regards to Sam Nyamweya, is our football was in shambles at that time. And I really, just like we've said for the other candidates, I really want to see what did he do then that he thinks he will do right now. What are the innovative ways that he can say that he has come up with that will fix the problems that he had then, probably still are there right now, and is going to fix them. There's been a lot of criticism, especially when it comes to him. Watu wengine wamekuwa wakisema, we want to see new faces, we want to see younger people, we want to see what they can bring to the table. So I'm looking forward to seeing what his manifesto is and how it's going to correlate with the problems that we have right now. You can speak to that and say, obviously, he's at an advantage of saying, I have been in the seat before. I know what it's like to be there. There's nothing new per se that can be brought to me that I haven't dealt with. So the experience is obviously a good thing. Experience is a good teacher. So I want to see how he can turn that over to be positive on his side, because there's negatives as people have been talking about out there.
And again, just Kidogo just said before, I would love to add on what you have said. I think from 2016 up to now 2024, he has not been in the position. I think he has seen some difference from where he was the FKF president. There is a gap of 8 years. I think there are some things he has seen in the federation and even in the local government, because if you're a federation president, that means you should work with, I mean, that's where a government mechanism comes in. Like you have to work with the local government. That's included like in a CS and other organization. I think that gap, maybe he has seen things, maybe right now he wants to make a change.
True.
So Celine is saying she was a bit young that time. I'll give you a little bit history because I was there. So Sam Nyamweya was in the seat, I think, in 2011. At that time, state ya football ya Kenya hata sahi ni at least kidogo ilikuwa kabisa imeharibika. Then Sam Nyamweya kidogo akatoka, tried politics, kidogo ikamlemea, and I do not believe in the politicians one bit. Juu wanatuambianga hivi, wanafanya hivi. And I'm not saying ni mbaya kuwa politicians, but I do not believe them. Umesema candidate running mate wake ni
Patricia
former, again a politician. Okay, it's fine. To me, Sam in 2016 alishinda na Nick. And then there was a video alichukuliwa time ya kupeana nomination paper, akasema I've never lost an election. He lost that one. So he's still trying to tell us something. So at Saizi, today he has a platform to prove some of us who don't believe in what he's saying, to try and convince me that at that time, these were the problems that were there, and this is what I did. And right now, these are the problems that naziona, and this is how I will solve them. So if today he won't really change my mind, I don't think I will probably, I don't have a favorite, let me start from there, but I don't think I will lean towards him. So he has a very good platform today. Tell us what, at that point, what was the problem, currently, what is the problem, and how shall we fix. And integrity issues, again, I'm talking about the whole governance issues of football, and how atainua grassroot football. So kuna structures already, utazi-improve aje. We talked earlier about kurate huko mashinani. Juu sisi uangalia bole ya Tao peke yake. Tuangalia tu Tao, Nairobi nini. But hatuangalii bole yenye iko kuna player atatoka tu Wajir mahali, kuna player atatoka tu Garissa mahali. Structures gani anafikiria ataziset huko hivi zinue ule hiyo talent iko huko. So kuna a lot of things. Hiyo corruption anasema atuambie hiyo time bado corruption ilikuwa. And I'm telling you, these people, some of them are coming back because ya utamu ya hiyo office. So atuambie tutafanya nini?
Okay, let us do this. Acha tumsikilize alafu turudi, because you guys have spoken. You say the league, he left a very strong league that had a sponsor anyway. Tutarudi kudiscuss.
Can discuss the sponsor as well.
All right, guys, let us listen to Sam Nyamweya, then we come back.
Among everybody else. I know what is supposed to be done by government. I know how to know what is ailing Kenyan football. And the Kenyan football, I'm not the only savior. You only need a team, good team, and I know how to pick a team of good professionals to run the federation. I know. I have the experience. I have the one who has the most experience among everybody else. I know what is supposed to be done by government. I know how to engage government so that the government can assist in running football. The government does not run football. We don't have to blame the government. Oh, the government only they provide. They provide the government provides what we call services. We look for sponsorships. Prominently, me and my team, and my deputy and my team, we will revert the running of Kenya Premier League to be run by KPL, as it was during my time. They let the Premier League run independently, although supervised by the federation. That one we will do it immediately. Immediately I go into office, the Premier League now, we will allow it to run independently.
All right, welcome back. All right, so we've listened. Among the things Nyamweya has mentioned is letting the league be run independent. You know, the time I hosted Tom Alila, and he had the same sentiment. He said a federation should act as a regulator. You know? The league should be run independent. But that is not what is happening currently in a federation. Do you agree with that trajectory, or do we let the league, the federation, run the league?
I can say, like, in terms of when, for example, we had a separate entity, like the FKF wasn't hands-on with whatever was happening in the league. I've heard from players who used to play at that time, league ilikuwa mzuri sana, we used to benefit a lot, and that also speaks to what we are talking about as the video is continuing in terms of sponsors, the sponsorship, our league being sponsored, and those types of things really help the league in terms of bringing in revenue. And I want to see, if he's going to say that, I want to see what is his plan. Has he already has a plan in his mind of how he's going to bring in East Nasema? Because obviously we have been running 8 years with FKF being in charge of the league and everything. So how do we now turn over from that to this other system without our league collapsing or like vitu zianze kwenda haywire? So for me, I feel like if any candidate today speaks of sponsorship and how they're going to bring sponsors into the league, they've won me over. Because I know how instrumental a sponsor can really help the league to grow. But we can't definitely depend on FKF to provide everything we need, Ivo. Also the fact that, in as much as right now, yes, we can say ligi yetu imeanza kufika at a point where you can actually go on TV and watch the league. There's so many other games which are not being shown. Okay. So if we had like a competitor sort of, let's say KBC are also in bad terms with the FKF, so we are not seeing those games. So yeah, I would like to see that.
All right. Remember, we are still here at the Catholic University. I want to take you to my colleague Alan. Hapo ndani tayari akiangalia vile delegates vile candidates wanaingia. Then we come back because we have still 2 more to go. Let's go to Alan then come back.
Yes, thank you very much, Shutterboy. Remember, we're here at the Catholic University of East Africa for the FKF presidential debate that is taking place here once again at the Catholic University of East Africa. Inaugurating the presidential aspirants. And you're joined, first of all, by Sami Kempes Owino. Of course, the FKF presidential aspirant is a former footballer, a Kogalo legend, one of our very own in his blood. So very quickly, I'm going to interact with him before he gets in. Of course, remember in the next 1 hour, it's about to go down here at the Catholic University of East Africa. But first, let's start with Sami Kempes. Let us hear about him. So Sami, how are you feeling heading into the debate? How are you feeling? Are you feeling confident?
Yeah, I feel good. I'm excited about being here and look forward to the debate.
Okay. How have your preparations been?
You know, my agenda is something that I've always worked on for a long time. So I don't think it changes much in terms of preparation because it's this is something that I've always prepared for a long time.
Okay, we've seen some of your fellow FKF presidential aspirants bow out. For example, Hussein, what do you think about that? How do you feel about that?
About him not being here? Yeah. I wish he were here, but at the end of the day, my focus is on me and what I'm going to do and not necessarily on other people. I think it is his choice to be here. I think it's a missed opportunity for him. I wish he were here, but hey, that's his choice.
Okay, we've seen an interesting choice with your deputy. We've seen you go for Kadenge. Tell us, before you go in, I know you're going to be asked that. Why Kadenge? Of course, he's been in the football world. He's the son to Joe Kadenge, the legend. So tell us, why him? What's special about him?
Yeah. Kadenge is somebody that I've known for a while now. And, we go way back to when I was playing with his brother, Francis Kadenge, in the national team. So Francis Kadenge was a good friend of mine. So I was, in that sense, I was a family friend. So one of the things I like about Evans is that he's a person of integrity. He's somebody that, has been involved in football, so has the football experience. But more importantly, he has that integrity that is actually needed quite a bit in football today.
Okay. Of course, Kempes, you are able to start academies in the United States of America. Is that something you'll be looking to emulate if you get into power?
Yes, I'd like to start an academy, whether I am part of the federation or not. I have invested in a piece of land in Kajiado, it's 40 acres. And so my plan is to start an academy regardless of what happens.
Either way, you're going to start it. Yes. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
So there you've had it. You've had it from Sami Kempes Owino himself. And we're going to keep you updated with all the latest. And right now, I'm actually being joined by our next guest, of course, who is the man himself. And quickly, we're going to be crossing in back over to him. But let me tell you about the FKF presidential. Remember, the election is set to take place on December 7th. And today we're expecting a very heated debate here at the Catholic University of East Africa. Of course, I was talking to Sami Kempes Owino, who is one of the FKF presidential aspirants. Don't forget, he's a Gor Mahia legend. And I'm going to be giving you more details as these presidential aspirants workings. Remember yesterday, Hussein Mohammed bowed out of the debate, but right now I'm joined once again by Tom Alila, who is also a presidential aspirant here. And very quickly, I'm going to be asking him how he's feeling as he heads into the debate. Good morning, sir. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening.
Very nice to see you. You're looking good today.
Yeah.
How are you feeling heading into the debate, sir?
We're excited. We need to express ourselves and sell our policies. So it's a good thing that we have shown up.
Okay. Yesterday we saw one of your fellow aspirants saying bow out. What do you think about that? How did you feel about that?
I think it's his personal choice not to come to the debate or come. But I think it would have been a good thing if he came so that we debate together. Yeah.
So tell us, as you head into the debate, what are you really expecting? How prepared are you? What have you taken to prepare yourself for this great debate?
For us, we don't need to be prepared. We have been in the football space for a long time. We know what's supposed to be done. So we don't need to prepare. We will deal with the issues as they come. Yeah.
So you're feeling really confident heading into the debate?
Yeah, if you're a football person, you must know the issues which are there.
Of course, you've been in the football world a long time. So especially right now when you stand into power, we have a lot of things coming up in the football side. For example, you have the CHAN tournament in February, and then you have the AFCON under-20 in March. Do you think it will be hard stepping into power at that time and collaborating with the Ministry of Sports to ensure all these teams do what they're supposed to do? Will it be hard? Do you think it will be hard for you if you step into power?
No, it will not be hard because the secretariat for FKF is still going on. The space, but I know most of them who we are running, our competitors, are running away because that's what they have been selling. That's why you see they have now changed position. One is becoming president, the other one is going to be the running mate. It's because of this CHAN and AFCON. That's why they are dying to be in office. But us, we want to make a change. We want to make football, the hygiene to be there in football. So that's why we are here. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think about junior starlets making history by becoming the first team to win in the World Cup?
It's very a good thing, and you can see the people who are the junior team who are in Dominican Republic. They came from schools, yeah. So that's why in my policy we want to integrate schools and to be members of association. That's what we are paying for. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I wish you all the best in the interview and all the best, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, as you've heard it from Tom Alila, he's trying to implement football in school, just like the junior starlets. Remember, the junior starlets, when they went to Dominican Republic, they were able to become an historic team as they become the first Kenyan male or female team to ever win in the World Cup. What history. And remember, some of these children who are playing there, some of these ladies, they come from high schools, of course, from the likes of Butere girls, and they were able to make it to the top. And Tom Alila policy speaks on nurturing talents all the way from the grassroots, including schools. And right now here, my next guest come here. Thank you very much. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
How are you feeling heading into the debate, sir?
I'm too good. Yes.
Of course, I'm joined by Kakamega's very own. So tell us, how have the preparation been?
We are ready for the campaign. We are ready for this seat because, you know, Kenya, people have played about our talent. Now I'm ready to take the seat.
Okay, so we saw an interesting choice with your deputy. Tell us, how did that come about?
About my deputy? Yeah, I wanted to do the balancing. So I decided to take from Mombasa because, you know, if I take, for example, from Nyanza, that would be a Western region business. Yes.
Of course. So tell us, especially you've been in the football scene for a long time, of course. You've supported your team. You've taken them to CAF champions. What do you feel like you'll do for Kenyan football to be able to regularly compete in the CAF Champions League? Of course, we saw our teams make it to the CAF, but they don't make it to the tournament itself. They make it to the playoff. What do you think will introduce that will make even your own team get there, sir?
What we are going to do is that we'll start with the grassroots football. We make sure that from the grassroots we make the players from that down. Then we make sure that our selection is good. Then we make sure about their call it what? About their salaries and everything and allowances. We make sure they get them.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I wish you all the best in the debate and all the best, sir. Thank you so much. Of course, that's how it's going down today. And for now, I'm gonna take you back to Shutter Boy. But remember, it's about to go down here at the Catholic University of East Africa. That's it for me, Nzuki Alan. We'll cross back to Shutter. I'm sure we'll talk again much later. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Alan. As you've seen, aspirants are here, eager and ready to give us their manifestos and to tell us how they think they will steer the football direction to the right direction according to them. Because if they want a status quo, the status quo changed, it means they feel the wheels are not moving to the right direction. So let me come back to my panel. We have discussed Sam Nyamuya, and because of time, let us go to Cleophas Simanyula and Twa Mbarak. Remember, I had said Cleophas Simanyula is the current chairman and owner of Kakamega Homeboys. Twa Mbarak is the vice chairman of Bandari FC and a former FKF vice president. Start with you.
Just before we go to the next aspirant, about the sponsorship and the football being run independent. I think it can be run independent as long as it doesn't open us to litigations, because I don't want to hear about FIFA bans. I don't want to hear about FIFA complaining. if it's run independently, that's okay. I'm not saying the federation is better, because we have been also hearing these things from the federation. I think, yep, coming up to the next aspirant, I think I've not heard much about him. Yeah, so like, okay, him being linked with Kakamega Homeboys, I think he's a good one, because I think we have had Kakamega Homeboys for a while now, and maybe we just give him a chance.
They've been steady. They've played in the cup.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So
they've won a cup.
They've won a cup as well.
Yeah. They ended the season last season at a peak. I think.
So based on those, actually before ulikuwa muuliza hiyo point FKF
being an administrator and regulator.
So wao wacha wakuwe hapo juu, because tunapata wanaingilia mpaka branch usiku, mpaka sasa branch inakosa reason ya kukuwa hapo. Wao ukiwa hapo juu, wewe ni prezi huko, una sit kwa net kama una sit wapi, acha kuja mpaka unaingilia branch. Acha branch run grassroot football yao, wao watengeneza structures vile hii branch itajigava. I mean, I think he's a good candidate. Kakamega Homeboys, tunaona structure zake, tunaona wamekuwa steady like she said. So based on that, mimi naona candidate yake iko poa, but anafaa atuambie a lot. Toha Mbarak, running wake amekuwa hapo before, amekuwa the second in command before.
Yes.
So I think it's a good combination. Probably atamwambia what went wrong at that time, how they can do things here and there. But I remember at some point Toha as well alikuwa amejaribu ku run as a president years back na hakushinda. So we still need to know what happened that time. Elections hiyo time ilikuwa wapi, because right now I think he's the same person alikuwa na complain that elections zifanyike Kandanda House, ndipo like somewhere else juu hawana imani. So anafaa pia tuombe ni imani gani hiyo hawana ikiraniwa huko. So he makes sense actually. He makes sense. Ni kama uchukue elections State House. So ina make sense vile anasema. But pia anafaa atu-expoundie more about football vile hiyo time ilikuwa, and the structure saizi ile manifesto yao ni nini more watafanya wa grow football Kenya.
I think the same for me. For especially Bandari, what I like about the club, especially their marketing. I feel like they market themselves so very well in terms of even not clubs, in terms of marketing themselves, in terms of competitions with the games. So yeah, I would like to see that in a larger scale, because in my opinion, I feel like we've been lacking in terms of marketing of our football and of our football players. So I'd like to see how that can be integrated to the team. And in terms of Kakamega Homeboys, I also think they have been very steady. Easy Shidas are losing games, and definitely that has to do with the coach and the team. But I haven't had so many scandals of players have not been being paid. They're auctioning the buses like we've seen with other clubs. So I feel like if you can be trusted with a little and you're running it very well, it makes sense for you to be trusted with more.
All right. You bring up a good point where you say you feel Bandari imejipanga, pia Homeboys imejipanga.
Yeah.
For some time now, the Kenyan league has become, in quotes, more of a corporate league, in the sense that corporate teams or teams that are owned by parastatals appear to be strong in terms of players' remunerations, management as well, in terms of travel and all. But teams that are community-based have been suffering, right?
True.
So what do you think is the remedy for that? Because if this trajectory continues, we are likely going to see a league where we do not have a community-based club that is in the league, because of financial constraints. So what do you think should be done?
Wow. For this topic, it's such a broad thing, because personally I've spoken about it on social media and whatnot, because I feel like one big problem is in terms of marketing. We have a community-based team, but they don't know how to lure in investors. And to speak about this is when we saw Yes. Okay. Sorry. When we saw like the unveiling of, and I hate comparison. They say comparison is the thief of all joy. But I'd just like to point out, we've spoken with Celine about this, how teams in Tanzania, you watch Simba and Yanga, they have so many investors. You see a bank like Equity going to invest in a team in Tanzania, and you're thinking, what's lacking? Yes, some might say obviously that they have had a team in the NSL, Equity FC and whatnot, but why are our investors moving towards supporting other teams which are community-based? Because Simba and Mini, they're so big in those places that we haven't been able to draw investors to come into these teams. I feel like that is the biggest problem here, these community clubs. Gor Mahia is a big team, AFC Leopards is a big team, and you're thinking, why haven't they drawn in like investors wa maji? You look at what players usually use every day, they use booths. You can find an investor when you're an advertised booth which people can. They drink water every now and then. Why don't you find an investor who works with? There's so many companies which work in the water industry, and you're not utilizing those. You look at footballers, they like fashion, they like that type of thing, and we aren't seeing our footballers being used as ambassadors for this fashion houses. So I would say our marketing is really bad in terms of that, and that's why, like, look at a club like KCB, unasikianga players wakisema ikifika sijui date 27 inakuanga tu direct transfer from the bank to your bank account. You don't even have to ask. Inakuanga iko programmed. They receive their payments in such a way. So obviously these teams are going to develop, they're going to become better, they're going to lure in more players, because me kama mshahara yangu inaingia every 27th, why shouldn't I go to a club like that rather than going to a community club where mnajua mtavurutana every now and then in terms of money? So I think, yeah, for me that's the problem.
You have a similar opinion?
I think, for me, I work with a corporate team, that is Tusker. So, I hear most of these things, and you find, like, these corporate teams, it's easier to sign the players because the funds are there, everything is there, the resources is there. And when a player, like, for example, let's say, we see most players of Kariobangi Sharks sign into Tusker, Gor Mahia, teams like those, because they are guaranteed, like, if they play, they get their allowances on time, they get their payments on time, and you look at, I'm actually surprised the Kakamega Homeboys is doing good because it's a community team, it's not a corporate team, and then we saw teams like Nzoia Sugar going home because lack of sponsors, players not being paid, selling most of their players and not affording to buy new players. I think that is something that should be discussed. If we start talking about that topic, we'll go and go and go on. But there are some teams that are for community that have. You look at AFC and Gor Mahia and even Shabana, it's a community team, and they have, like, if you look at the good collection of AFC Leopard, you cannot compare it to Tusker. Because if you look at Tusker, Tusker, KCB, those teams, they don't have funds. But if you look at Gor Mahia and AFC Leopard, they have a bigger fan base. So that means the collection at the gate is, even if they don't have something that is sponsoring them, the gate collection can pay the players. So I think basically all the candidates will be coming in, please bring in more sponsors to us, such that if there is a team that is this one applies because there is no corporate that will want to sponsor a team if it's not giving something back in return. So I think we should try and get more sponsors to the league in general, because if we say we get a sponsor for a certain team, for example, we have Tusker. We get another sponsor and another club doesn't have a sponsor. So that means, like, I think we should just get a sponsor. The way we have Azam, we get another sponsor.
So I think on the same line as well. And by the way, it's not bad to have a corporate supporting your team, even if it's a community-based team. So that's a good thing because the finances are poor. And the community team as well should. The management go out, try to reach out to the sponsors as well. And one of the things that the aspirants should tell us is how will they market our league? How will they push our league to that level when it will attract even foreign investors, foreign sponsors as well? CO2 at KCB, Tusker, how will they work on a plans to market? Basically, our market will get to a point where inafika hiyo place sponsor ako nje anaweza come kwa country watapush aje Gor Mahia ifike hiyo level, wataempower aje Gor Mahia Kenya Police wakienda kucheza Champions League, hatupigwi na round ya kwanza, tunapigwa tukifika quarters ama hata tuna win. The moment tuna win, we get to a platform where tunacheza na kina Vinicius, you know, our player shaji market already. So how are they going to sell? How are they going to sell our league to attract more sponsors and community-based teams as well? The management has itself has some work to do because hakuna mahali hakuna kampuni. Right now we've devolved the 47 counties devolved, so in each county I'm sure kuna a company there. What is the management doing to attract investors when you go around hapo? So it's a, like they're saying, it's a topic yenye tukianza kuongea hatutamaliza na huyo anabana.
And the sponsors should not only be in the, we are talking about men and in the women league. We don't say these sponsors wakwe tu kila mali. Kani men's league, men, kani women wako.
That's true, but in every business, everyone demands ROI. So, I have to get my return once I invest in your project. So it is also the federation's responsibility to ensure they have a strong league.
Exactly.
We will come to it because we have to discuss, because at some point Kenya used to be, in quotes, a superpower in Eastern Africa. Our league used to be that strong. But in the recent past, our league has become a feeder league to the teams around us. We are feeding Yanga, we are feeding Simba, we are feeding Uganda, we're feeding Ethiopia. But we shall come to discuss that and what you think should be done to ensure that happens. Let us go to the last and final aspirant, and this is Sam Ochola and Willis Waliaula. Sam Ochola is the current Secretary General of Gor Mahia, which you guys have praised here as a community-based club which is very strong and has a very strong fan base. Then there's Willis Waliaula, is a former Harambee Stars team manager and has held similar positions at Tusker FC and Sofapaka FC. What do you think, you guys? This one is a mixture of a community base and a corporate base. So what do you think of this candidate?
I think most definitely if you have been in leadership, I think it runs in your blood, because Gor Mahia is a big club and we know how the fans can be. You do one little mistake, they come for you. I think he feeds in with the pressure that comes with the fans. Not only, even though Tusker that time, I think the fans were 2 or 3. I think so. Maybe he started from there and up until right now when he is at Gor Mahia. I think if you are in leadership, I think you just have to come to me without a scarcity mentality, because I'm looking up to you. And if you come to me with a scarcity mentality, I'll be like, kama hivi ndio uko tutasaidiana aje. So like I feel like if you have a mentality that is out of this world, vitu una imagine tu wewe uko sawa.
But don't you think then they are going to play to your imaginations, because clearly you set that as a low-hanging fruit? Anyone that comes and tells you, I'll bring you sponsors, I'll do this, you guys are bound to jump on it.
but he's talking from a point of strength, because he has done that. Other than telling us something that you have not done. So I'm not saying, yes, definitely we won't interrogate only one part, they are kutuletea sponsors peke yake. We shall interrogate everything, kwanza hiyo corruption natuambia iko, football, utainua football, everything tuta-interrogate. So, but ukiongea mambo ya sponsors, can you show us if you've done that before or not? So, naongea from a point of strength, which is good. We've seen how Gor Mahia has been over and over and over and over. They are winning leagues back to back. So it shows management kidogo, he kind of seems to understand a little bit about club football, not a little bit, actually much about club football.
He has a good strategy, even when it comes to signing players and all that stuff.
Exactly. Anasainigi player, vile wanasign players, unaona sio kitu tu alikaa chini wakasema wacha tu sign player. So
ule Brazil alishinda pepeta ball. Just saying.
So I think the candidates appear haina a lot of issues. So because we've mentioned some when clearly we have issues with, but now we don't have a lot of issues. But still, we still need to interrogate more than what they're just saying to clearly understand what will they do to our current situation of football, and how will they move us from where we are to the next level where we want to be.
You know, when we talk about the league for me, I see the league as the end product. You know, but before the league is that strong, there is a lot that has to be done behind the scenes. You know, from grassroots football, all counties, all zones. You know, and talking about grassroots football, I don't want to call the national team grassroots, but let me call it a young, like a prospect. Now these are the rising talents. You know, we saw when they went to Dominica. First of all, qualifying was the best thing. Was one of the best things that could ever happen to this country. Because that was our first team that has ever played in a FIFA World Cup. You know, and having done that and going there and representing us to the fullest, winning their final game against Mexico. We have to agree that they were pulled in a very strong pool, playing North Korea, who are the favorites because they are dominant, you know? And also England, that we know has very, very strong structures in football back at home, and doing what they did. I think something now needs to be done to cultivate this more and to grow this more. So if you are talking to this or asking these aspirants these questions, what questions would you have for them in growing grassroots football?
That's a big question, but let me first, I'm thinking about the question, but as I'm thinking about the question, I think one of the biggest problems for Kenya is I feel like we don't take football seriously. I don't know if it stems from our parenthood, how our parents, when you want to be in football, they look at you funny, like get a stable job, then you can play football on the side, which also stems to now even like the community and how they view footballers, where you are like, mnalipa kweli, naonanga tu every time mnataka kuuza basi, mnasiu team, mna nini. I don't feel, first of all, we actually take our football very seriously, where some people actually want to go into football as their full-time career. We look at players who have done so well even in Harambee Stars, they have gone to represent our country. Then 1 year down the line, amepata injury and nivo anapotea, unasikia anauza viatu Gikomba. Ama mtu anaenda, unasikia anachezea team, they have been scouted, they are playing in a good team, then all of a sudden this person decides, hapana, acha nianze kuuza nguo, because at least kuuza nguo najua nitapata hata kama ni sawa yangu per day, and it will feed my family. So first of all, I think we have to change that mentality where we actually push young players to want to play for our country, want to play in our clubs, which I think the junior starlets have done an amazing thing for the whole country. I think this is the best thing that could happen to Kenya, where girls can actually see and also young boys can actually see, hey, we can actually go far. And this is to speak of investment. If we invest more into our football, it's definitely going to bring up more players. If we can see our players, like you look at Akina Duke, Wako Yanga, and Ivo, you look at Akina Nur, he's playing in Europa League, all these players, it simply proves how talented Kenya is and has been for so many years. So if my question would be, what are you going to do about the grassroots in terms of investing? What is your first thing you're going to do? Is it that you're going to invest in the players where kuna welfare yao? Is it the training grounds? Is it the training kits? Because all these things need to be available for our players.
All right, thank you.
I think for me the question will be, how do they plan to increase or to better the structures of school games? Because we get these players, if you look at the under-20, those ones that are at the World Cup, unfortunately they didn't qualify. I think most of them are from high school, Buteregal, Kapsabet, and even if you look at some of the players that play for Kenyan League, someone like Benson Omala was straight from high school. So I'm like, what are some of the structures that they will do to improve school game? Because that's where the talent is. We take the talent from there and then we bring it out to the outer world. And that also applies to the universities, because you find that some people are not lucky to get into teams after high school, but they still continue with their career come university, and that's where they can be scouted very well. So I think the structure thing, because we need boots, we need good stadiums, we need training kits, we need all those things.
And to add on something before Joseph speaks, I wanted to add on in terms of the players, investing in those players wakiwa young, and also the fact that when you see that a player is good, give them a chance. Historia, you look at a player, oh, he's too young, let him develop and nini. We see young players, akina Kobe, akina Palmer,
and even sponsorship.
They're getting chances while they are young. You look at someone like Andreas. Yes, it's his first call-up with the national team, but you're looking like kuna Aldrin Kibet, kuna Wangaya, kuna Amos Wanjal. Like there's so many players, but they're not given the chance because they are young, which doesn't make sense.
So I think it's basically the structures. Basically the structures. How will they create proper structures that everybody will be able to see that this is a structure to move from here to there, and how will the finances trickle down from top to bottom? Because unapata a team in Div 2 ama sub county ama regional team haina finances, inasponsoriwa, coach ndio anaingia, yeye ndio analipa fare ya kwenda game. So kwa nini team ya inacheza Div 1 ama Div 2 haina, I mean those finances ziache kuwa hapo juu, drop down
fike mashinani,
hizi team ziko hapa chini.
All right guys, thank you very much for your time, and like you said, this debate has a lot of passion. Because for the love of the game. What I can do on Monday morning, 8 a.m., we do have a show called Monday Blitz, Q&A Rocho, and we discuss football, and we give prominence to Kenyan football. So I'll invite you guys, we continue this conversation, as we also take a recap of the debate, how the debate went. Then we discuss and we see, because there are a lot of things that need to be done. And if you're willing to give your advice, we hope they are willing to listen as well. Whoever takes the mantra from where it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us from Upper Catholic University. I want to take you back to the studio kidogo, then we come back. Tupate watu wamekaa chini vizuri. Tony Kwalanda is ready and anasikia akitengeneza sauti for the debate. So if you're watching, the only thing you're allowed to do ni kuongeza volume ya TV. Do not touch that remote for any other reason. All right? Stay tuned for TV47, because when we come back with the FKF presidential debate live and direct from the Catholic University.